Thousands of people died that day. The workers of New York were filled with dismay. The moment was horrific. The sky was lit as one of the Trade Center towers was hit.
I've been a fireman for 4 years. I work in Ladder Company 142 in Ozone Park, Queens. And I know on September 11th, when I saw those towers come down, 110 stories per tower, I knew that there were many firefighters, many cops, many civilians in those buildings, and I was just shattered. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I know what war will do to you. I've seen too many bombed out places in Europe and what all happened in the different countries. Just like what happened in Pearl Harbor that Sunday morning. I remember it. I wasn't in the service or nothing, but I remember it quite well. It happened that day, but here it's different. New York is right there. Now they brought the war home.
My mom, she told me something big has happened, something scary and sad has happened. And I was like, all the people I love were like racing through my head. I thought like someone died or something. And when my mom told me what happened, I didn't know what big of a deal it was yet. So I was relieved when she told me what happened. But then I went and I sat down and I started watching TV, and on every channel it had like big pictures of it happening, and then I think I started to realize how serious it was.
I'm a pediatrician at Abington Memorial Hospital. I've been there 16 years in private practice, caring for kids from birth to age 21, and I have 5 kids of my own, 11-year-old, 8-year-old, and a set of triplets. It obviously it's shocking to have such a tragedy happen, and I think that with my own belief system, I know that bad things are going to happen. I certainly never would have anticipated something of this magnitude. My immediate reaction is to want to help my children through it, my own children in my household, to encourage them to look towards their faith, to remind them that they're safe, to remind them that they're loved. I just have to kind of be there for them, which is pretty much the advice I'm giving to parents in my practice.
It was hit by a plane hijacked that day. The crash was an accident, some people did say. Then when the other Trade Center was struck, people knew it wasn't an accident nor bad luck.
When I asked them, basically 6- and 7-year-old children, how many of you were frightened by it, only like 2 kids raised their hand. And when I asked them how many of you were saddened by it, they all raised their hand. And so I realized that the fear was my own issue. The fear was really my own baggage, and that these kids were too young and too innocent to really know enough to be afraid.
Both buildings caught fire, with no doubt. People panicked, some jumped out, shouting, commotion, grieving cries, not bearing to look, some covered their eyes. The people were terrified, and no one relaxed. Then the towers gave up, and both buildings collapsed.
In earthly terms, you can't get much bigger than the World Trade Center Twin Towers falling down. And yet, we tried to fit it in the larger context, and that God, all throughout history, has taken disastrous, horrible things and then turned them around and made good things come out of them. I'm not by any stretch saying that it was a good thing, but that God's in the business of taking horrible things and then using them to guide people to himself.
Things are going to be better and are better if we start it as individuals. Not wait for this grand plan, whatever that is to come, but we as individuals to be good neighbors, which is a biggie in America. Be a good neighbor, and then you can build on that everywhere, and that's the neighbor across the ocean as well as the one next door.
The whole city ran for their lives, the brothers, the sisters, the husbands, the wives. There were some who saved others, trapped within, risking hearts, bones, and skin. To this day, these people risk and die. Thank you sincerely, F, D, and Y.